1 second, I'm finishing up a banger. Fuck yeah. I've always loved grabbing my laptop and finding an inconspicuous spot to sit down and start writing random musical ideas. And that's why I'm very excited that Ableton just announced their new mobile making music app, Note. And I've got to say, wow, I like it so much more than I thought I would. Not that I didn't have high expectations, but other music making mobile apps I never really saw as a useful writing tool. But this I definitely see as a useful writing tool. I'm gonna do a quick overview of the app and then talk about some of the things that I like, some of the things that I don't like, and my overall thoughts on the app itself. So when you first open the app, you can see all of your sets, and obviously if you hit new, it's gonna create a new live set for us. Inside the set, it essentially functions like Ableton Live's session view. So you can create individual MIDI clips and then trigger those MIDI clips by tapping them. And if you wanna change the sound, you can select the channel and scroll through. Let's see here. Let's go find a cool synth sound. Basic saw large. I like it. So we'll go ahead and select that, and now we can start recording in our actual MIDI. Not the best melody in the world, but it'll work for now. And if you're not a god level finger drummer, because I certainly am not, basically all you gotta do is highlight all of our MIDI notes, hit quantization, and in this case, we will hit eighth notes. Now you can also record automation for the synth, which is personally one of my favorite things to do. So let's go ahead and go back to our synth, hit play. And you can see, just like that, we've added some automation to our filter cutoff. Now you can do this with any knobs and any effects in Ableton Note, so start going crazy. This is probably where I spend like 95% of my time in Note, honestly. And once we're done messing around in Note, you can go back and hit the 3 buttons and upload to Ableton Cloud. And this will allow you to bring your set into Ableton Live and start messing with it from there. Okay, so there's a ton more functionality in Note that I'm not gonna go over in this video, but I do wanna sit down and talk about what I really love about the app and what I, let's just say, want to see in future updates. Number 1 is Ableton Cloud. The fact that you can write a random idea somewhere and then bring it into Live to mix, master, and finish is amazing. Number 2 is adding a picture to your live set. This seems like such a small feature, but I just love the fact that you could whip out your phone and maybe take a picture of the view that inspired the idea itself. Number 3, it gives me something to do on my phone other than scroll endlessly on social media. And number 4, it forces me to write on a medium and in an environment that I'm not used to. And this really forces me to focus on the rhythmic, harmonic, and melodic elements of the idea, rather than get tied up in the actual nuts and bolts of the production, which is something that I tend to do a lot. Now let's discuss what I don't like about the app. Number 1 is no swing. This one kills me because as somebody who makes a lot of house music, swing is so essential to my sound and to my workflow, and to not have any options for it is kind of a bummer. Number 2 is no OTT. I'm just kidding. Kind of. There's really no compression options in general. I would love to see just a simple compressor get added and bonus points for sidechain. Number 3 is grid lines. There are no grid lines in the MIDI editor. Even just some simple quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes would make it really easy to tell when you're quantized and when you're not, and be really helpful on the visual side of things. Number 4 is changing the note length. I've seen a lot of people requesting this, and at first I didn't really agree with this, but then after using the app for a little while, I do think it would be nice. One thing to note that I'm not including is actually going to be drawing in notes. I've seen a lot of comments about this one online, but I think the inability to draw in notes kind of forces you to make different decisions. After all, limitation breeds innovation, and no piece of music software is able to do everything. And I think you can really start to surprise yourself with what you'll come up with when you have limitations. And this perfectly sums up what I love about Note. Not only can I take a walk somewhere and let the scenery around me inspire the idea that I'm writing, but I think Note also has a really low barrier to entry for people who are just starting to get into music production. Thinking back to when I started getting into music production when I was like 13, it would have been so much easier to convince my mom to give me $6 for an app rather than hundreds of dollars for a full-fledged DAW. So at the end of the day, if Note gets more people into learning music production, then I'm 100% here for it. But the learning never stops. So if you want to learn a little bit more, then check out a couple of these videos over here. I think I'm going to take off and maybe work on some ideas.